I'm a disaster, but it's fine because that's feeding right into this video. I am here to try my best to influence you to de-influence your life. I just finished doing my monthly budgeting and spreadsheets and everything. I was catching up on a lot of my finances, and it just got me thinking about consumerism and being influenced constantly every day and how exhausting that can be. I've been trying really hard, especially this year, to set new goals for saving, and so it is coming from a financial angle, but this message, I want it to be a lot deeper than that, because once you start at it from one angle, it just broadens up and opens up a lot of different reasons why you should stop being influenced as much as possible. But from a financial angle, which is how it all started for me, is that you start to develop more financial freedom. And let me get this out of the way. It's bothering me. This is my back brace that I've been using because my back has been atrocious. Every time I try to say that word, it's like moving on. So financially, coming from that financial angle, you build financial freedom, even if it's teeny weensy and tiny, like it is for me. I have been trying to save for Japan because I've been wanting to go to Japan, and I booked a trip and I want to pay it off as soon as I can. So I have been cutting back on a lot of things, and by doing that, I've just sort of brought my awareness to this idea that what do I even need half of this stuff for? I'm also trying to sell stuff and get rid of stuff and declutter because I don't need this stuff, and I don't have a lot of things, but I do have enough where I think, what am I doing? Like, why do I need that plant? I mean, I do actually really like that plant, and that was a gift, and it was beautiful. That little picture, I'll show it to you someday, and that light comes in handy a lot. But, I don't need that mirror, to be honest. I never even look in that mirror. It's an old mirror. I don't need it. I need to get rid of it. But you know what I mean? Like, there are so many things, just like random things that you just don't need. And by me never even buying those things, I would have the income that I would have had I not. When you're not constantly buying the latest gadget or the latest outfit or the latest decor trend, you're saving money for experiences and your future and investments and things that truly matter. It's not groundbreaking. Everybody knows this. But sometimes if you spend too much time online, or you're spending time around content that is constantly trying to influence you and say that you need this and you need that. I find it a lot on TikTok and Instagram because I guess those are like major platforms for influencing, but I don't know, like I feel like every couple of scrolls you're just like bombarded with, hey, this is something you need, and it's so targeted that you actually feel like you need it because you're like, this is perfect for what I was looking for, or what I was thinking about, or what I researched, or something that fits within that theme that you enjoy, obviously, because it fits the algorithm of what you're looking at. So they're very good at targeting you nowadays. Before, you could look at a magazine and you would turn through several different ads and you would think, I don't need that, I don't need that, what is that? And it wasn't so targeted, so it was easier to just brush it off. Also, let's think about the saving factor, the space saving factor. Less clutter. I cannot function when I have clutter around me. It's very distressful, and so it just simplifies your life. It's less to clean, it's less to organize, it's less to worry about. And so let's check it, like let's stop bringing in more stuff and just try to get rid of what we don't actually want. Think of how many times you've been influenced to buy something and you get it and you're so excited about it and you get it, and for that, I don't know, first moment you think, yes, I have this thing. Months go by and you look at that thing and you think, why did I ever buy that? Why did I ever get that? What was I thinking? Because it was such a spontaneous, emotional, connected response that you purchased that thing, because in that moment you felt, I need this thing, or this really connects with me in some way. But usually it's those impulsive buys. But even then, like, sometimes you have to see it come through your feed several times before you actually purchase it. You know what I'm talking about. And then eventually you're like, I've seen this thing so many times that now I think I must need this thing because I've seen it so many times and I can think of 1,000 reasons why. But then you get it and you realize, I didn't need this thing. Why did I get this thing? Yeah. Plus, nowadays it's so easy to buy stuff. You don't have to get in your car and drive down to the mall and go through 3 stores before you get to the store that you need, and then go through the racks in order to find that exact thing that you might want. And I don't know, it's just, you just hop online, you follow a link to the exact product, and then you just hit purchase and it goes directly to your cart. And within a couple of days, it's at your house. So, I mean, it's harder than ever to say no, is what I'm saying. It's easier than ever to accumulate. It's easier than ever to purchase. But you end up suffering in the end. It's very rarely ever a good choice. So, financial freedom, less stress, less less stress, less clutter, better creativity and resources. So I know it's time saving to just replace something that gets broken, but think about it this way. You will appreciate everything that you have in your house if you form some kind of connection with it. And not that I'm saying become connected and attached to inanimate objects. That's kind of weird. But you should have some reason for it being there and some connected, meaningful, value-based reason for having it, connection to it. Because if you don't, then it's just a flippant resource. It's something that is not valuable enough for you to keep in your home. It's like, why? Why do you have it? What's the point? When you repair something yourself, it holds more meaning than something that is just easily disposable, and therefore it has a purpose in your home. And you know it does because it's something that you've had to work on to keep there. So a lot of times something will break, or it won't be perfect, or it'll have some defect, small. It doesn't matter, but for some reason we feel like we need to discard it and then just buy a new one. And in the past, it wasn't ever like that. So things were fixed and replaced and reused over and over and over again until it can no longer be reused, and then it was replaced. Also, with fixing things, repurposing things, just DIYing things, and finding a way to repurpose things, it can build a sense of accomplishment in yourself. And you can look around your room and you can look around your house and say, I've created this. I've made a purposeful, impactful, and a meaningful attempt at trying to make this work for me. And I don't know, like, there's just a sense of confidence in yourself, especially if you build skills from doing that. And it also fosters creativity and can create own personal style within your home. It's not just about financing and buying things, but also about comparison, also about filling your life with things that other people are trying to get you to buy and create a lifestyle that might not necessarily be who you really are. Yes, you're going to be drawn to things that are naturally interesting to you. So to an extent, it is developing a personal, I was going to say a personal brand, but I mean, like, a personalized lifestyle that resonates with who you truly are. However, I do think that a lot of it is influenced by wanting to be as much like whoever it is that you're being influenced by. And it can build your authenticity and your own personal confidence in yourself. I've learned this a lot because I grew up in the 80s and 90s. And so even as children, we had to fix things and use what we had. We didn't have very much, and what we did have, we used until it was, dead and gone. So when you stop comparing yourself to others and you embrace what you already have, you can develop a stronger personal style and self-identity, which I struggle with a lot because, I'm always like, I don't know, like, I'll try this thing and see if I look good in that, and I'll try that and see if I look good in that. It looks good on this girl, it must look good on me. I mean, I'm kind of similar to her, right? So maybe it'll work. But it never does. It never looks good. So I always think, oh, well, then that's not my style. But in reality, I just need to figure it out on my own, But I guess that's kind of how you figure it out. It's just like testing things. But when you stop feeling like you're constantly behind in the trends because you don't even care about trends anymore. Stop caring about trends. Just wear the things that make you feel good, that you look at and you think, oh, I look good in that. I feel comfortable in that. Don't take your style advice from me because that is not my wheelhouse. You do you. I'm just saying, remember the reasons why you're doing it. Take a really hard look and think of how many times you bought something that was trendy and then you're like, what? Like, why am I remember I'm like way too old to be wearing ripped jeans, I don't know why I even thought I could. So that happened for like 6 months and then I got rid of them. There's this idolized world online where you feel like you have to be fitting in with every single person that you see, when then you walk outside your door and you realize nobody out in the real world is able to pull this off, okay? So I don't know why you think you could. And it's not to say that you can't be stylish or find a personal style that is cool and eclectic or like modern or trendy that's like looks cool and interesting. Do that, but do it in a way that doesn't involve constantly changing up your outfits and changing your style and following the latest thing that you saw online, but just rather using what you have and repurposing it in a way that's cool and interesting and fits with the time, I feel like you can reuse what you already have and find love in the things that you've already purchased, because if you can't, then that means that at some point you were influenced to buy those things and they are no longer interesting or valuable, or maybe they never were, and maybe that you bought them once, you wore it once, realized it wasn't for you, and then you stuck it in your closet and never pulled it out again. And that's a big indicator of the fact that you were probably influenced, and it's just not fun. It's not fun when you're influenced to buy something and then you buy it and then you have it in your house and you never use it and it goes to waste, and then every time you look at it, it's just a reminder of something that you were not very smart about, Nobody likes that feeling, and that feeling is a lot worse than actually like getting something and being happy with it for 2 seconds. Or that feeling of looking at somebody else and saying, oh, I love that thing, I want that thing, but then you realize you don't. You really don't. Trust me, you don't. The goal is to not be like someone else, but to just try to gravitate towards things that you truly think are you. Now, the biggest thing that I'm influenced by, to be honest, is health stuff. Like skincare and supplements, vitamins and minerals and healthy foods and whatnot. I'm not gonna even voice this because I'm just gonna start getting a flood of ads for these things now, but like I'm trying to take care of myself here, and so I get influenced by experiences and I get influenced by health, and I try not to. And even that I'm like, no, you don't need to be doing that, because you can use what you already have. There's no sense in like getting the next best thing. That's where my flaws are, okay? I'm nobody to be influenced by. However, I'm just saying there is some value in reframing the mind about maybe just going back a few steps to pre-internet days and really appreciating what you already have. Really helped with obvious things like less consumption, less spending, but also less environmental impacts, less production. And I'm all for people making their bank and being creative and creating products and selling them and adding value to the world. That's important, so I'm not trying to eliminate that aspect. I'm just saying for each of us individually, knowing when is a great time to purchase something and when you're just being influenced and making an impulsive, irrational decision when you have things that are perfectly fine at home and you are capable of using what you already have or repairing what you already have, you know? So how are we going to do it? How are we going to break ourselves from the temptations of the internet? The very first step, sadly, is to just scroll right past something that you think might be something that's going to warp you into their vortex and keep you there and mind control you into buying something. If you have to know what those things are, and you have to be quick on your little swiper thing. So that's just a tip, pro tip. Not really. And also just unfollow things that are influencing you in ways that you know are not good. Like things that you negatively compare yourself to and feel like you have to constantly try to chase in order to be happy. That's probably not good for anyone. So I would say unfollow. Try to distance yourself from things like that. Unsubscribe from influencers or brands that constantly promote consumerism, because you know the ones, you know those influencers who every other video or every other post is like, hey, buy this thing or buy that thing, or I don't know, because like for a while there I was following people on TikTok that was just like the best things you can get on Amazon influencers essentially, and that was no good. That was a dark time. And so yeah, I highly recommend unfollowing things like that, because it will push and you will buy. You're not as strong as you think you are, because I'm strong. Probably the strongest. I'm the strongest of you all. And it got me for a little while, so I'm just saying, know your limits. Ask, oh, wow, it's getting so dark all of a sudden. Ask before buying. So that's, everybody knows that. It's like I think it's called like the Marie Kondo method of just being connected and really truly loving the things that you purchase and bring into your home, and know that there is going to be some kind of value. Take some time to really evaluate everything that you want, not only with purchasing, but things in life as well. It's kind of like, what do I want to think about and bring into my world in my life? Because the more you want something, the more likely it is it will happen. So you really want to be careful with the things that you think about, the things that you invest your time and your energy into worrying about or thinking about or consuming. So really be intentional with those things, you know, and especially the things that you buy. You want to make sure that you're connected with it, it's valuable, it's important, and it's going to add value in some way to your life long term. Okay, we're not talking short term value here. So if it's going to bring only short term value, I mean, have an ice cream, okay? That's short term and it's beautiful. But I'm talking about products and things like that that are going to be living in your home for quite a while. You want it to have a long-term effect on your quality of life and bring you either joy or some kind of actual improvement. You'll need to ask yourself, do I need this? Is it going to improve my life or just be a short-term high? So the next thing is to learn super basic skills. So things like sewing, basic sewing. I am not a sewer, but just like knowing how to hem, or not hem, I don't even know, that's not even called a hem. Just like repairing, you know, like the seam of your clothes. Just little things so it doesn't look so very bad. Or like hammering a nail into something, or soldering, wiring, you know, things like that. No, seriously, like learning how to fix simple electronics, doing light woodwork, painting, you know, there's very simple things that you can do. And also learn how to reuse, repurpose different things in your home for different things, or just redesign things. So like this bedding, for example, instead of getting rid of this comforter duvet thing and replacing it with a whole different one. I can just get a cover for it and put that inside of the cover, and now it looks different, but it's the same product. It's just like the cover is different, and so it's a lot cheaper, and there's lots of, or I can even make my own cover. You know, I could go to the store and buy some fabric that I really like and just make, you know, a very simple cover, put it on, things like that, you know. I'd have to turn the light on. Oh my gosh. Wow. It just got so dark all of a sudden. So yeah, you can resell old clothes, repurpose furniture. You can just refresh small things rather than replacing them. Just take some time to really think about, do I really need to get rid of this thing? Or can I fix it? Or can I repurpose it? Or can I change it just slightly? Or can I up level it in some way so that I find enjoyment out of it again? And really find a way to, oh, my hair is just whatever. Really find a way to find gratitude in the things that you already have, you know? Ugh, I don't know. Appreciate what you already have instead of feeling contempt for the things that you do have. And if you do feel contempt for those things, then take a hard look at yourself when the next time you buy something, because you won't want to have that feeling, and know that the things that you purchase in the future are only going to be things that you love and could potentially reuse or repurpose. So try to purchase things that have that resale value or a reusable value or a revamping value, you know? Try to stop chasing the new thing. I know it's hard, especially with this day and age, but I think it's better to just try to invest in things that you think will be long-term, or you can at least sell to earn back some of that, of what you've lost. Or you can also, if you do want to change it up, completely switch it out, you could trade with your friends or other people. You can find people online to trade with if you don't have friends that are into the same things as you or styles as you. So that's something that can easily be done if you want to switch it up. Sometimes I do that with my clothes. I'll say, like, to my friends and family, I'll say, hey, I'm getting rid of a bunch of stuff in my wardrobe. Is there anything that you want to maybe go through and see if you want? And vice versa. Like, if you have anything that you're trying to get rid of, let me know, because I like your style and I could maybe like steal a couple things. And just because somebody's getting rid of something doesn't mean that it's not cool anymore. It could be so cool, totally cool. So don't discount it. Thrifting is in, you know? So thrift, but thrift with in a cost-effective way, because thrifting is so in that even thrifting things can be wildly expensive, I've noticed. So trading is good. Is trading thrifting? Kind of. So you might not even want to trade, because you might say, I really like this thing, like say the shirt, for example. I really like the shirt, so I don't want to get rid of it, but I do want to switch it up, or my friend really wants to switch something up, so I'm gonna let them borrow it, and then they can give it back when they're done. And I would like to borrow something of theirs, and I will treat it beautifully and give it back. That's another thing. It's like, the more you borrow things from other people, you usually like to really take care of things that are not yours over things that are yours, I found. So maybe borrow a lot more so that you can find that would help incentivize you to really care about it and take care of it, so that in turn, once you do that, you might transfer that to your own things and want to take care of them with the same level of enthusiasm. You can also set challenges for yourself. So say, for this month, when I go online, I am going to log off of social media if I get an ad for just this month, you know? So for this month, anytime I see an ad, I'm logging off. Or you can do a no buy month or a no buy 3 months or something like that, so that for that level of time set, you are not allowed to purchase anything. So especially if you're you're highly influenced and you typically purchase something in a month or a 3 month time span regularly, then that might be a good challenge to take on, is to say, you know, oh, but I really want to get that thing. But you know that you have your no challenge months. So you have to either set the thing aside and hold off on purchasing it for that until the end of that time. So that when you revisit it by the end, you can say, oh, okay, it's been 3 months. Do I really still want that thing? And I can almost guarantee 9 times out of 10, you're going to say no. Or you're not going to be as in love with it as you were. So you might second guess it or second think it, which would be very helpful. So yeah, I like that challenge to just say, but I'm going to hold off for 2 weeks. And if I still like it in 2 weeks, then yeah, maybe I'll still get it. But it really makes you pause and think about it. Or try doing the thing where if you do purchase something, especially if it's something that you already have, then you have to get rid of the thing that you already have first before you purchase the new thing. You have to find a way to add value through that previously purchased item via selling it or gifting it or eventually donating it or repairing it and seeing if it's even still valuable. And if it is, maybe you don't even want the new thing. Just trying to bring attention and value into the thing that you already have first before you take the leap to buy the new thing, because that way you will know for sure, I really do need that new thing because this thing is no longer of use for me. I don't know. I also think that going back in time and thinking about the past can really bring a perspective to this current day and age. And that might be a little harder if this is the only day and age you've ever known. However, I never lived in the Great Depression. I didn't live during post-war times. I didn't live in the 1800s. However, I know enough about it, and I've done enough research and seen enough movies and read enough textbooks to know they struggled a lot during that time. And it really brings a lot of appreciation for the things in life that we have now. I like to go back and think about, how did they repurpose? How did they, continually reuse? How did they live with the little amount of things that they had, And how did it feel for them to have those things? How did it feel for them to repair those things? How did it feel, and what did it mean to really take pride in the things that they owned and in the things that they worked on and created for themselves? So it kind of helps, bring a little bit of appreciation to your own life and the things that you have, and maybe the things that others don't have or didn't have during those time periods. Or even being a 90s kid or an 80s kid, because I grew up around that time and there was a huge hand-me-down culture. I don't think I even owned a piece of clothing that was store-bought, to be honest. And that wasn't just with clothes, it was with furniture, it was with cars, it was with so many toys, so many different things were never really bought, and it was repurposed and reused. So unless there was like some really, really, really big trendy things that couldn't be reused because they were high demand, but those were a lot less frequent. There was only a couple of things here and there. So not only will it bring appreciation, but it might also inspire you to take on that sort of lifestyle for a little bit and say, because I know for me, one of the things that we do every single year as a family, we go on a trip to the mountains and we camp for a week and we hike mountains, and we, have limited resources. We don't have internet. We have, limited ways to clean ourselves, and the food that we have to prepare is not in a kitchen, so it's different. Things like that. And so it's kind of a way to get back to stripping down the niceties and the luxuries of life, and so that when we come back to that life, it just brings a whole different perspective and a whole different appreciation for it. And if you ever deprive yourself of the niceties of life, if you've ever bathed in a freezing cold mountain water shower, you know what a warm shower means. When you come back, you you really love that shower. You can take a shower and be like, this warm water, wow, did not realize how much I needed that, did not realize how important that was until I did not have that. So, things like that. So just maybe depriving yourself a little bit of things so that when you come out of it, you form a different appreciation for like the small things that you have. Also, form of appreciation for the limited amount of stuff you actually need in order to survive. So when you don't have those things, but you're able to survive for a week or 2 weeks or a month, and you're totally fine, and you're actually able to appreciate other things that while you're not being distracted by all of the other, luxuries of life, it really connects you with the important things. So maybe do that. Maybe deprive yourself a little bit. So think about the Great Depression and the way that they lived back then. Think about just the fact that they would wear it, they would use it up, they would make do or they would do without. And they really had to make the most of every little thing that they had. People repaired their own shoes, they repaired their own clothes, they repaired every single item that they ever had in order to make it last for as long as humanly possible. So yes, it's good and valuable that we have the option to have things at our fingertips. Is it necessary? And what is it really doing for your life? How is it really adding value? Unless it really does. I mean, there are things that can help make your life simple and, give you more time for other things if you're not having to repair them, So there's that give and take, and I'm not saying that every generation didn't have it good or didn't have the opportunity to buy something new, but it just happened so much less. And I added more value to the things that you did have. So I don't know, for the next month, think about that. Set yourself some challenges. Hold off on purchasing something new, maybe for just 1 month. I don't know, for 1 month, just every single time you go to buy something, think about what you're gonna buy and ask yourself those questions. Do I truly need this, or am I just being influenced in this moment to buy it? Not only to buy it, but to want it. Because half the time, you think you want something, but in the end, you really don't. Let me know in the comments if this helped with your mindset on this, if you are gonna take on that challenge, and maybe come back in a month and tell me if it helped or if it was just, I don't know, worthless exercise. Yeah. Bye. You want to be rooted in experiences, relationships, creativity, rather than things, right?